Welcome back in our third video of this playlist. So in this video, I know that video should be more than 1 hour. So in this video we will make our API some more advanced. So in our last video, I guess you guys remember, there have a issue which is the user is created duplicatedly. Like if I have already have an account, then that create another account, so I don't want that. So I need to prevent the duplicate or this kind of other thing. So let's start with the duplicate resolve. So first of all, I will open MongoDB Compass, which is a MongoDB Atlas graphical UI. I think you know. So that is the thing. Okay, then there have the local host and the atom, which is our database. Okay, now there you can see they have duplicate data, so I want to prevent that. So for prevent that, I just need to go on the user.model, and here what I need to do, here every user have a unique thing, which is his username. No, everyone not have the username, which is the UID that is unique for each user. So that should be unique, true, and I will index that UID. So when we search any user by their UID, then we can get more faster. Well, so other everything is great, then yeah, other everything is great. Now that cannot create any duplicate user. So if I go here and if I type here Spanish, then this, now this time you can see, this time that sent me that similar response, and that created another duplicate user. So for resolve this, what I need to do, I just need to delete that previous database. Okay, drop database, then I restart my server. I just restart my server, and that server is restarted. If I now refresh here on the Spanish scan, you can see that is loading, and above one is successful and bottom one is failed. Now if I go here and refresh, you can see there have a user which is 1, and if I go on the indexes, there have the UID. That is a unique properties, is a unique. Well, so now if I refresh here one more time, you can see that both requests should be rejected like this. Okay, now there have a error on the console log. So why the server is crash when there have a error? Okay, so let's figure out that. We don't want is, if there have any error, then we don't want any crash. Okay, so for prevent this kind of crash, what I need to do, I just need to create something like app.use. First of all, here what I get here, first of all I get error, second request, third response, fourth is the next, which is a function. Okay, so now if I make that async and I just send here object which is error, and I pass here error. Okay, or not error, something like error. Okay, this kind of something. So now if I scroll down, you can see server is running, and if I refresh this time, I guess again one more error. So so this time I just forget what I need to do and why that not happen, and why that is not solve the error. So I found something which is, I am not use try catch on the API, and here everything is okay. If I now just of that console log and go here, you can see app running. If I refresh here, this time the request is bad, and if I scroll down, there the server is not crash yet. So that is working properly. So we are make a global error handler which is some work like this. So what I need to do next, so first of all, I create here something like a status which is 500, which is something like internal issue, and I don't know the status full form, or 500 status code, this kind of something. Okay, Okay, so 500 status code is something like the request cannot be gated according the expected response this kind of something. So however, so what I need to do, I send here something like a response, okay, which is something broken, and here we can pass a object. First of all, status, which is status which is false, then message which is error dot message message, and let me see is that work or no. If I refresh, that is working. There have the message. Okay, so there have something like I need to add here the error, the type. Okay, then there is a request type, there is the response type, and there is the next function. Well, now the type error is fixed here. Now what I need to do, so I organize that API. So there have a lot of more this kind of API, so I cannot add all API on this app. Okay, so I need to organize that API. For organizing the API, I just go on the user, and here I create a file which is a login or user instance. Okay, user instance dot ts. Okay, now here I copy that API and go here. Now what I need to do, there have something like some type, okay, which is root, so I don't need that root now. So the type is nothing. Okay, user model, so I need to import it. That is request, so we using TypeScript, that's why we need to import it. So response, that is a response, then there is next function. Okay, now we need to also import that app. Okay, now what I need to do, basically you can see if they are not have any instance and the app is don't know, I have already created a file which is user instance. Okay, if I refresh this time, you can see that 404, that means the API is not found. Okay, API is not found, cannot post user this kind of something. So what I need to do, so I need to create a route. Okay, I create a folder here which is routes, and here I create another folder which is main routes.ts. okay, and here I create something like constant router, which is router, they have a function, I guess, yeah, from express. Okay, then I need to export that router, export default router. Okay, now if I go on the app, here I need to use that router app.use, and here I can add a path. I can add a path which is something like API, then we can specify the version which is v1, then we can add here main, sorry, that is router. Okay, a router that come from routes slash router. Okay, now we need to specify that router. Okay, so for a user there can be more API, right? So I need to get that user information, I need to update that user information, this kind of something. So there have a lot of more API. So for organize this, I create here another folder files which is user routes.ts. okay, now if I go here and copy that thing and paste here, and I just change the name which is user route, the user route, paste. Okay, then user route dot post, then here I need to type the user which is our path name, and then the handler is the user instance. Okay, so we need to export that user instance. basically we are already done that post work. Okay, so now what are exist here? So now they have a callback function. So if I just copy that callback function and cut this thing, then create here a normal function which is something like user instance, and that is a normal callback function, something like this, then that should be work. And I need to export that user instance. So I just change the name, that is the user, that is the authentication or this kind of all other API that can be on this file. Okay, so that is user auth. Okay, now I need to export that. Okay, so user auth. Now I don't need that import. Then what I need to do, I need to import here user instance, I guess. Instance spelling is wrong. TENC instance. Okay, user instance. Now I need to import it, and once I import it, now if I go on the Spanish scan, you can see the API is not something like this. Now they have something like API, then version 1, then that user. Okay, now that server is running. Okay, now if I go here and refresh, you can see that is still not found. So what I can do, I can just restart the server, and here also I can restart it. Okay, both are running. Now refreshing. Okay, if I go on the header, API version 1 user post not found. What do you mean, man? If I go app, they have the API and version 1. Oh yeah, that is the issue. And they have the router, and okay, I am not add here that user routes. Okay, so I need to call that router dot use that user routes. So what I can do, I can add here a path, something like user. Okay, user, which is the path name, and here I can add, so I don't need to add any extra path. Okay, now if I refresh once again, this time internal server error, and you can see the response duplicate key collection. Okay, so what I can do, I can simply delete that user and again refresh. So this time one request is accepted and another request is rejected, and you can see the user is created. That means we are successfully organized the API. Okay, so now in that is a React app, and in our that entire app we cannot use fetch, so we like to use React toolkit. Okay, React toolkit. Well, so that is the React toolkit documentation. If I go get start, and then they have the installation. So I just need to go on the quick start, and they have something like the npm install, this kind of something. So I just copy this, and I go here on the client and simply install it. Now once I install, I need to add something like a store, and then they have something like a base API. So let's start with that store. So so what I need to do, I just first of all organize the file format. So file format is something like, first of all, the API. Okay, API, and here I add I create here another file which is store.ts. Okay, store.ts, and here I copy that store and paste here. Now I cut that comment, and they have something like a API. Where is the API? RTK query. Yeah, that RTK full form is React Toolkit Query. So I guess you understand. So I just copy this and I go on the API, or I can create here another file which is base API dot ts, paste here this, and if I go above, I don't have that type, cut this, and also this two thing, and I don't need that two thing also. Okay, I don't need any API. Okay, so now what I need to do, I just need to change the reducer path, which is something like API, just normal API, and here I can add a base URL. If I go here, what I need to do is specify first of all the reducer path, then the reducer, which is that Pokemon API. So I just change that API name, which is base API. Okay, base API, and I export that as default. I export default base API. Okay, now I go on the store, and they have something like base API dot reducer. Okay, now if you don't know that API or reducer path name, so what you can do, you just type here array mark and then base API, then they have the reducer path. Well, so now I need to wrap that main, they have something like main.tsx, so I need to wrap that. So here I can add something like provider, provider, which is come from React Redux. Okay, I just import it, and then here I need to wrap that router provider, and here what I need to do, here I just need to pass the store, which is our created store that come from store. Okay, now if I just go on the app and let me try to find out any error, is there have any error. Oh, I turn off the client side. Wait, okay, restart the server. Now you can see, okay, they are not have any error, okay. What I need to do, I just need to change the base API base URL. Okay, so for changing the base URL, what I can do, I can create here a .env file. Okay, so the file is, I can add here two variables, which first one is byte dev server, which is full form is development server. Okay, development server, and another one is byte live server. Okay, so now they have in the TypeScript, they have something like environment suggestion or this kind of something, but okay, I don't need this any kind of anything. I don't need that anything. So what I can do now, I just need to go on the Spanish, and there have the development base API, which is this, and there is the development API, and the server live server is currently null. So now here I just need to go here, import dot meta dot environment, then they have the development mode. So if the development mode is true, then import dot meta dot environment dot then environment, then they have something like, I guess, okay, I can make that more simple. Okay, so what I can do, I just create here a file here, which is environment.ts. okay, now here I create here a constant, which is environment or env, just simple env. Now here I create a object, one is the dev and one is the dev, and another one is the live. Okay, so what I can do, I just go on the environment and copy this thing and paste here dev. Okay, I cut this .env. So now I just need to export it. Okay, export default env. Okay, now if I go on the base API, and if that is dev, then just go on the env then div, and if that is not div, that is live, then env dot live. Okay, now now what I need to do, now I need to create a API. So I go on the API file, and here I create a API file which is user.ts. okay, now here I create a create a API which is user, and I call here base API dot, there have something like injected endpoint. I go here, and that asks me a builder, so I call here builder. Then they have something like a query, they have something like an endpoint, right? Okay, so I forget the I just forget the format, so I go here, and that's probably something like this, endpoint, and that take argument which is builder. So build, okay, build, then this, then here I need to create the API. So our API is instance, okay, instance or login, or just instance, which is argument, that take argument, and then I can pass here URL or query. Okay, I guess I did another mistake, cut that, and that give me query, and I get the argument from that query, and now they have the URL, sorry, what the heck. So I did a mistake, which is I am not use that build. So that is a post request, so I called here, that is the API instance or API, there is a query, argument takes some parameter, and parameter or body, that argument are passed body, then they have the builder something like build.mutation, and here I need to call that object, and here I need to, okay, I guess I did another mistake. So if I cut this thing, then build.mutation, and here now I need to pass the query give me argument, and then that have the URL, which is the user, and then they have the method, which is post, then they have the body, which is argument. Okay, so that's it. Now I need to export that. So how can I export it? I just need to type export constant, something like this, and then end of the here user, just user. Now if I type here something like, I can say use instant mutation, so that is the instance. Okay, now if you want to change the name, something like if you want to change the name to user login, then you can change the name, no problem. Now you can import that as user login, no problem. Okay, let's move forward. Okay, so we are exported the API, now we need to use it. So there is user login, I just copy the user login, and I go on the Spanish, and I replace that data to user, just Spanish. So if I just write here, now here I need to pass the argument. Okay, you can see there have some option, but I don't need to go with that option. I just need to pass the argument, which is web app, which is something like, first of all, okay, let me see what I have used already. So if I cut this and go here on server, so src, okay, they have user auth, so I need to pass something like a object which is user. So I just create user object, and here I pass web app dot user unsafe, okay, int data unsafe, and then dot user, and also I need to sign that user. So okay, I cannot use here directly user, so first of all I need to declare a mutation, right? So they are giving me the error since a long time, but I cannot understand what is the issue. So that is something like mutation that return a data status. Okay, so I just pass here mutation. Okay, so another thing I need to pass, which is int or initialize key that come from web app, then int data. Okay, now if I just pass here something like mutation and if I want to see that in the console log, you can see now this time that give me two things, one is user and another one is int or initialize data. Well, so I need to pass one more thing, which is refer code or startup information. Okay, so if I just make that dual line, and then here I pass another thing, which is startup and web app dot int data unsafe, then they have something like start param. Okay, so there is a, of course there is a number, so that start up, there is a refer code. Well, so I need to use it. First of all, I need to validate that int data. So if I want to validate that int data, I just need to go on the documentation on Telegram, and you can see that they have a package which is Telegram app int data node. So I need to install that packages. So I need to install that on server. So first of all, turn off the server and install it, and then you can see they have this kind of something. So I use is valid this thing. So here I need to pass my boot token. Okay, so if I want to pass my boot token, so here I create another file like that environment. So I just copy here and paste it. So now I change that environment. So first of all, that is the boot token. Okay, I write here my boot token. So if I go on the Telegram, well, so you can see I have right here the boot token on SRC. Oh, that is the server. Yeah, so they have something like user auth, that a file I have created. And if I just again show you, if I just refresh here, so well, that takes a long time if my internet connection is too weak. So that's why I don't prefer to use this kind of something. So you can see middleware for RTK API at reducer path API has not added on the store. So I need to add here a middleware. Okay, so there have base API. I just type here a comma, then they have middleware. Hello, they have something like, okay, no, I have there. They have middleware on here, I guess. Yeah, in this line I need to type them. What the heck? Oh, that is the base API, sorry. So if I now type here middleware, so that is a middleware, then get default middlewares, then we concat the middleware, get default middleware dot concat with base API dot middleware. Well, that is great. And if I now refresh, you can see that issue is resolved, and that is our mini app, and that is the diff tool. And you can see here duplicate key ER collection, this kind of something, and here is the payload. Okay, now I need to validate that int data. So if I go on user auth, here I need to validate it. So what format data we are gated? We gated several things like user, int, or this kind of something. So now what I need to do, I just need to use here if is valid is equal, here I need to type the value. So the value is something like this, and that is int. Then the token is on env dot boot token. Now if that is true, then please send a request, please create a user, and if that token is invalid, then throw a error which is token is invalid. Okay, now you can see app is running, and if I now come here and refresh once again, you can see here I get a console log. Okay, I get a server console log because I have used here a body. I just cut that body, and here I made a console log accept. Okay, now if I go here and reload here once again, now this time nothing happened. Okay, nothing happened here. And if I go here, because that sent the error message, because that cannot create a duplicate user. So if I just console log that above the user creation query, so then I guess you can see here a console log which is accepted. Okay, now if I do the same operation on Chrome, you need to remember Chrome cannot provide real-time int. So if I refresh here, you can see the token is invalid. That means, and they are not have any new console log, that means that can validate. So for fast output, basically I am using VS Code internal put forwarding, so I am not getting faster output. So that's why I just manipulate that is valid, so I make that as falsy, and I am working on development mode. In production, don't do that. If you use that in production, then your app is not run, and your app cannot create any user. Well, so what I need to do, we are already verified, we are there have a user, right? So what I need to do, I need to check is that user is unique. Yeah, that we need to check. Is that user that is currently coming, is that user is unique? Now as I said, every user have a unique ID, which is UID or TGID. So I do a query using that UID. So I do a query where that is the thing is something like, I make a variable which is user or is user. Okay, it seems like boolean. Now await user model dot find one. Okay, and we already did a index, so we will get the response as far as possible. So that come from user body. Okay, well, now we try to console log. Now we can make something like, is there have any boolean or something like this? Okay, they have aggregate, apply, default, virtual, bulk, call, a lot of thing, count. Is exist? Yeah, this thing exists, that is exit. So let me try to take the value. Okay, what we need to do, if that user is exist, then we need to create a token. So that exist will return a boolean, as I know. But okay, you can see here, return a document with underscore ID if at least one document exists in the database and the missing filter given and null otherwise. Okay, that exists, and find one is typically same. Okay, so I can go with find one, and I make here a condition which is, if that is user is not found, then create a new user. Okay, but if that user is found, then create a token. So for creating a token, what we use, we are going to use the JWT. So I am forget is I am already introduced with you the JWT or no? Yeah, I'm not introduced the JWT yet. So I just go on the JSON web token, which is a package. So I copy that package, and then I install that package on server. well, that is installing, and that is a pretty cool package, small package as I know. Okay, npm run dev. Now what I need to do, I need to validate. Okay, I change the variable which is create user. Now that is more makes sense. Now here I create a payload, constant payload, which is first of all take underscore id. The id is create user dot underscore id. Okay, now they have something like id, which is user id, or we can define it as uid, which is the create user dot uid. Then what we need to do then is we need anything something like, okay, we need a role is come from create user dot role. Okay, they are not having a role. Okay, that's two thing is enough for now. Okay, that two thing is enough for now. Now what we need to do, we just need to create a token. So token is equal jwt. Okay, we need to import the jwt, import jwt from JSON web token. Now I guess I need to install types. Okay, so npm I just install the type. So if I turn off and okay, the type is installed, then I need to use it, jwt dot I will sign a token. The payload is payload, then they have a secret, so I type here a secret. So we need that secret for verifying that token. Is that token created by ourselves, or the user just create that token and paste on his browser, this kind of something. So that is secret. Okay, abc, that is too much high power, so no one can guess that secret, I know. What you need to do, you just need to change that secret. Okay, now they have user auth. Okay, I just need to use env dot they have secret. Okay, now they have something like max size, but I don't need to use it. Now what I need to do, I just need to send a response, send dot okay res dot send. Now body is the token. Okay, body is that token. Now token is a object, or we can simply pass the token. Okay, token is an object. Okay, now we need to return. Okay, now if that user is not exist, then we create that user, and if that user is exist, then what we need to do, okay, we come after that condition, and if that user is exist, then we just copy that payload, and we can copy that entire code and replace here, which is the create user. That should be something like easy user. Okay, if that easy user id and uid is exist here, then we payload, then we need to send the token, and if the token is invalid, then we need to type here int or initialize token is invalid. Okay, now they have a big issue. Suppose that find is finds is somehow rejected. Okay, then that return a value which is null, then that go here and create a user. So in case we need to use transaction. So for better explaining, I open here a image which is something like a transaction explaining image. So first of all, we start a transaction, and there have a lot of operation like insert, update, delete, this kind of something. So in our API there have two operation, one is find and another one is create. So now our one query is depend the other query, like if that user is return rejected, somehow rejected, then they create a user. So there is a big issue, because if they have any user, then we cannot create another user. So we need to manipulate that. So in case we need to use transaction, like they have something like find and create. Now if find is rejected, then we need to roll back, and we need to reject the entire request, API request. And if that find is success, create is success, then we will accept the API request and we will commit it. So I know I cannot explain you perfectly, but I guess you guys understand what I want to tell you. Okay, so for using transaction, first of all I need to go here and I need to declare a session. So here for declaring session, they have mongoose.start session. Okay, now here I start a transaction. Okay, you wait, start a transaction. Then if they have a user, before sending the request we need to commit. You wait, session dot commit transaction. You wait, session dot commit transaction, and again session dot end session. Okay, now I also copy that and paste after here. Okay, now also I return from here. Now we are use the transaction, but we are not add anything on the API. So now what we need to do, I just need to add here a function which is session. Okay, you can they have a issue, I guess. Okay, you wait, now that issue is resolved. So I'm getting another thing. Okay, I understand. Here I need to use an array, and in this array here I need to use the session. Now you can see they have error. So why that error is coming? Because I am not said the index. Okay, because we are use a array, so that return a array, of course. So now we are successfully used the transaction. Now if I go here and refresh, I expect a crash, because transaction number can only allow on replica set member of Mongoose. That means we can use transaction on database, real database. We cannot use transaction on localhost. So I just go on the MongoDB and I use a real database. So that is our development database. I go here and okay, that is the database. Please start it. Okay, I copy the connection string. I just copy the connection string and I go here on the environment, and here I add the URI, which is this. And okay, now we need to type here the database name, which is atom. Atom, that is the database name. Now we need to use that URI, so I can simply add here that env dot atom, sorry, URI. Now you can see that it's restarting, and if I check the database, refresh, they have the atom and the user is null. Now if I go here and refresh, there a user is created. One is that is the token, and another one is that is the token. So now what we need to do, if you want to check what have on this token, so you can simply copy that and go jwt.com, sorry, jwt.io. Now you can scroll here and you can paste here the token. Now once you paste, you can see they have underscore id, uid and initial at, okay, when the token is initialized. Okay, so now where I need to go, I just need to go on the embellish, and here I need to use a use effect. Okay, use effect. Now here I need to use a use effect, and here I need to pass dependency, which is status. Okay, now if status is equal fulfilled, okay, if status is equal fulfilled, okay, then I just simply add a token on the session, which is add an item on the session, which is token, and here I call data, then data have the token, which is a string. Okay, now there have there have a lot of things, like I need to add here another dependency, so which is the data token. Now what does the dependency do? Actually, when the dependency value is changed every time, that use effect will be run. Okay, now if I refresh here, you can see that pending, because our server somehow is shut down because attempting illegal state. Okay, what do you mean, buddy? I don't understand. Now the issue is now the issue is we are use here something like await on the session when we declare the session, but we are use and again await on here. So what I need to do, I just need to select that and then Control D for multi cursor, then I just type here session. Okay, now that should be work. Now app is running. If I refresh, okay, if I refresh, then they have the application, and that is the token. You can see here that is the token. Well, attempt illegal state from transaction abort to transaction commit. I don't understand. What do you mean, buddy? I don't understand. So if I go on the Spanish, I don't know what is the issue. Attempting illegal state from transaction. Okay. So the error issue is I am not use await here. So okay, I guess this time that should be work, and I am not getting any more error. Okay, now app is running, please. Okay, and then if I just refresh, and they are not have any error, and they are made a request, the request is success, and yeah, I am also happy. Now we are successfully saved the token on the session storage. So now we need to pass the user, current user, that is a spell skin, we need to move him on the home page. So how can we do that? So now if the request is fulfilled and there have a token, okay, if the request is fulfilled, okay, I need to make something more, like if the request is fulfilled and data.token have a value, then please set the token on the session storage, and also please move that user. So for moving the user, I just need to initialize here navigate. Okay, navigate, which is a hook. Use navigate, there is a hook. Use navigate, and there is a navigate, and now I need to use here navigate. There is a function, and 2 is the app. Okay, and they have some option. So the option is that is replace is true, so user cannot back on this spell scan once again. Okay, now here I need to add one more dependency, which is navigate. Okay, now if I see here, you can see I am already on home page. So if I somehow go on the spell scan, the request is successful and I am on the home page. So that's how actually there is work. So what I need to do, I need to assign something. Okay, I need to assign something on the user out, so I can understand when the user is come. So actually I like to add here another field on the model, which is last seen. Okay, last seen, that is a date, Okay, so last seen, which is type is a number, so type is a date, then there is a required and true, then default type, default time is timestamp. So current time is the default time. Okay, that is the current timestamp time, so that is the default time. Okay, so okay, that is now working. So now I need to go on the user auth. Now you can see when the user is created, his time I need to add one more thing, which is last scene. So the last scene is new date dot get time, which is pass a UTC time. So that is the last scene when the user is created. But if the user is come next time, he should be login. Okay, so his time I am not come on this function, so I am not come on this condition. So I just need to go here, and here I need to make changes, which is user dot last scene is equal new date and then get time, current time. Okay, now you can see type number is not assignable to type date. Are you mad? Seriously, are you mad? So how can I convert it to a date? Date is a type. Okay, date is a string. I don't know what the heck. So what I can do, I am already at the same thing here. So what is the issue? So if I copy this and paste here, still the issue is same. Type number is not assignable to type date. Okay, let me resolve it. So the issue is resolved. So that is expected a string actually, so that's why that is not working. So I just simply cut the get time. So store any time, but please store the time. So app is running, you can see, and if I go on the Atom, refresh it, nothing happened. So I need to go on the Spanish. So I am logged, and this time, yeah, successfully logged. So if I go on the server, if I refresh the user, now you can see they not have any field that is something like last scene. So that is not working. So for we are not save that changes. So I need to save that changes. So is user dot save. Now here we need to pass the session. Okay, session. Well done. So that is passing the session. Yeah, now if I now refresh, okay, not on this page, if I go here and refresh, now if I go on the server and refresh once again, you can see nothing happened. Why, buddy? What is the issue? Okay, nothing happened here. That is really painful job. Cannot use session that has end. Okay, so the session is end here. Well, so I need to use here a wait, right? Okay, now this time that should be work as expected. Okay, that is safe, and if I refresh, now you can see last scene, that is the time. So actually I add that for metrics like how much user is joined in last 3 days, 7 days, 30 days. So we need to calculate it, right? So in case we need to work with that last scene. Okay, now they have something like a refer code. Okay, there I use here a hard-coded refer code. So we need to use the refer code that come as startup, right? So the refer code is something like rec, then body, and then that is startup. Well, then if that is null, then please continue as default. I don't care. Now our user creation is successfully complete, and we can create unlimited user here. So now we need to protect the user. Like if I suppose if I clear the token and if I refresh here, that not generate any new token, and I am still on the home page. So how that is possible? You can say I am still on the app and I can access other page here. So but I'm not a logged user and I don't have any token. So I need to prevent that kind of behavior. So for prevent this kind of thing, I create a file which is libs, so or utils should be better, utils. Okay, now here I create a file which is protect user dot tsx. now rsc. Now here I need to pass here the children which type is also children, and type is a React node. Okay, now I just pass here the children, and we are protected the user, right? So I copy that protect user and go on the routes, and here have the app layout, so I just simply pass that. Okay, now I wrap that app layout, so user cannot come on this page without have any token. Now if I refresh here, nothing happened, I don't have any token, but I am still on this page. So now we need to validate is that user have the token. So we can assign here a value which is token. Now session dot get token, get item, which is the item name is token, item key is token, and if I console log token, then if I console log token, then you can see null. Well, so what I need to do, I need to use here a use effect, okay, use effect, and the dependency is token. Now if that token is null or not found, if that token is not found, then please move him on the Spanish scale. So for moving, I just need to assign here navigate or navigation. So I use navigate, which is a hook again. So I call here navigate, and the navigate is Spanish, and user cannot comes once again, replace is true, and I need to pass here a dependency which is navigate. Okay, now you can see I am on the Spanish scan, and the server give me an internal error. Okay, that is perfect. I don't know why that is happening. So okay, now what I need to do, I just need to pass here tgweb data, and yeah, I'm on the home page. Now if I go on the application and remove the token, just token, I just want to delete that token, nothing more. Okay, delete the token. Then if I simply refresh, I am on the Spanish scan, and then that request here, you can see that request here, and that give me that token. Well, now without token no one can stay here. Now suppose I just make a changes on the token. So suppose the token is Siam. Okay, that is the token. Now if I refresh, that is not a valid token, but I am still on this page. So what we need to do, I just need to validate the token. So for validate that token, they have another package which is JWT decode, that work on React or client side, and that not give any side effect. So that's why we going to use that JWT decode. So if we work with Next.js, so I can directly use here JSON web token, but on the React that give a side effect, so that's why I'm not going to use it. So what I do here, I just assign a variable which is decode, and then JWT decode. Now here I pass the token, and if the token is null, then I pass here a replica token or a default token, which is something like this. I just copy this and paste here, so I will not get any error that token is null and that cannot be decoded, this kind of something. If I am not past this, okay, suppose I am not past this, then if I refresh, you can see they have an error, right? So that's why if I paste it, and you can see, hello buddy, what the heck. Okay, that issue is I write here a wrong code. So if I write the code is something like, okay, in code, where is the decode? Okay, the name is something like Siam. Okay, Siam. So I just copy that token and paste here the token. Okay, now if I refresh, you can see I am on the home page, but if I want to console log decode, then there is the console log. You can see the name is Siam and they don't have any ID or UID. So what is the unique on this decode? So in our case, if they have any decode which is okay, let me create a use effect at first, because we cannot do this kind of operation so directly, so that give me a side effect and my app could be crash. So in case I like to use something like if decode has a UID and decode have a ID, then you can move. But if there is not have, then please move him on the Spanish scan. Okay, now you can see they have the UID and underscore ID. So I just copy that object and I go JSON web token that is loading. Please very fast please. Okay, now I can copy that and I can add here that interface and delete that, and that is the decode interface. So I can use that decode interface. Now this time there is not the ID, there is underscore ID. Now if there is UID or underscore ID is not exist on this mini app, then please move him on the Spanish scan and replace is true. That means he cannot back on this app until he is generated generate a token. So now here I need to pass some dependencies. First of all is navigate, second decode. Okay, now if I refresh, there is the code or there is the console log. Now if I go on the application and change the token, something like I change the one value. Okay, I change the one value and refresh, you can see check out the link, nothing happened. So now I change the thing, something like Siam. Okay, Siam. Now if I just refresh it, what the heck, please buddy, refresh. What the, okay, I just delete it, refresh it, the generator token, and I change a multiple value like that first part, and if I refresh, check out the link, nothing happened. Why nothing happened here? So I copy that and go on the jwt.io. Okay, we can also decode it, right? So you can see there have UID and underscore ID both have already. So what I need to do, there is a token, but I changed that. Now they don't have any UID. They have UD, but they don't have any UID. I copy that and I go on the application and I change the value for token. Now I just refresh Spanish app. Great. Now we are successfully validated. Is the user is exist, then please show the user. Please show if they have any token, then please move him on the home page, and if that user not have any token, please kick out him. So then we are protect our app. Now what next? Actually okay, they have an issue with app. I cut that and okay, I import it. Great. Now what we can do, now we can design the home page, right? So we are successfully create a user, we create a Spanish scan. Now let's design the home page. Now I guess I can design that on next video, because in our next video have a very busy schedule. Like in our next video we need to done the home page and the tax page. So see you on our next video, which is fourth video on this playlist. So till then, take care and Ramadan Mubarak.